So what we're here to talk about today is THCA. It's becoming a bigger deal as far as the snow caps have been going around, which is what that is essentially, if you've ever heard of moon rock. So moon rock is a flower bud dipped or rolled in oil and then rolled in keef. So what it does is make like a hard outside shell of wax and keef, which in turn makes the flower burn a tremendous amount of time longer than it would just being flour. It's a type of infused product. It's becoming a bigger thing in the marketplace also. They're well worth the money, depending on your tolerance. I wouldn't suggest it for new people to cannabis. But what we're here to talk about today is THCA. So the snow caps essentially are the same thing, except they are rolled in THCA isolate. And what that is when most of the time it's done solvent extraction, but sometimes they have also done like a rosin type isolate extraction with THCA. And to get a little further into that, THCA, because I've seen it in gas stations and all over the country because it's kind of a gray area of cannabis right now. And it's always funny to me to see it too, because THCA is the non-active ingredient in cannabis. So when you grow flower, it's THCA until it is tested, where it is heated, and then the THCA is then molecularly transformed into THC. It's all THCA. That's why a lot of people don't know this, but if you just eat raw flower, dried, cured, live, however, it will not have any psychoactive effect whatsoever. So that being said, most of your diamonds, whether it be resin or otherwise, they have EHO diamonds. There's many different solvent techniques to get diamonds to form. They're all THCA. And what that is they've not used heat to transform the THCA into THC. So with that being said, that's why there's a gray area in being able to ship THCA around the country as far as diamonds and things like that, because technically it doesn't have any testable THC until it's heated. And that's kind of the flip side of that too. A lot of the THCA flower that's being sold is THCA, and that's because it hasn't gone through a lab testing to where that product has molecularly transformed into THC. So it still has THC in it. It's just not active yet because the THCA has not molecularly changed into THC. That's how it goes in the distillation process. So that's what we do with crude oil, or RSO, Rick Simpson oil as it's also known, which is a black oil that's made with ethanol extraction. And it can be also hydrocarbon and such, but it is then put into a distillation machine where it uses vacuum and temperature to molecularly transform the THCA into THC molecules. And that's how you're getting your 90% distillate in your cartridges and stuff like that, because all cannabinoids are being transformed. Well, all the THCA and most of the cannabinoids are being transformed into THC by the heating. I kind of wanted to clear this up because the snow caps has been a big thing lately, and I don't think people fully understand THCA. It is definitely THC. It's just the non-activated version of THC, which is THCA. There's hundreds of cannabinoids in the cannabis plant. These are just a few we use. I don't know if you could see here, CBN, CBG, CBDA, CBD, as people mostly know, CBN. There's so many different active cannabinoids that definitely create an entourage effect, as they call it, in cannabis. THC is not the only thing that normally gives you your entourage effect. I have found a lot of the cartridges I've been trying to produce lately are high CBG, 2 or 3%. And what that does is that's where you get your relaxing, euphoric feeling a lot of times. And what helps you sleep is the CBG. CBN also plays a big part in that also. Um, like I said, I just wanted to touch base a little further on this THCA too. Uh, it is the isolate version of it is mostly done with solvent, and what that allows you to be able to accomplish too is you can use the THC isolate in edibles, in infusions. You can use it, like we said, in the snow caps. It can be smoked outright. And what that is once you're heating that THCA isolate, it is now transforming into THC. The backslide of that is without the heating and testing of that in a lab setting, you're not really sure how much active THC you're getting because it is all still untransformed THCA molecularly. So it's definitely a huge gray area. That's why, honestly, federal legalization would make a huge difference in just the knowledge and testing in these products. That way, instead of being, I've been in the lab long enough where, honestly, the majority of even the cannabis industry is not 100% informed on all the different techniques, active ingredients in cannabis, and such forth. So that's where legalization, national legalization, comes in to kind of do those studies, those long-term studies, be able to factually determine what's what in a more translucent setting, to where now it's individual companies, and being that it's nationally, federally illegal, a lot of these companies are not sharing their information also because of the federal gray area on it. Point in fact, if you go to look at like videos on YouTube of how to cannabis, there's not very many. And that's for a reason, because it's still federally legal and you don't want to risk the things you have going on to try to spread maybe a little bit of knowledge, being that it is such a gray area of legality. That's where THCA falls in, because it's not considered THC, so it's allowable to ship, to sell under the, I believe, the Farm Bill. Yeah, so I'll touch on this a little further next time. I appreciate you guys listening.